In today's show, we're going to be talking about your trajectory for your career, for your relationships, and also for your overall happiness in your life. I was celebrating my birthday yesterday, and I realized that I have a lot more behind me than I've got in the future. So what do I do with the time that's left? That's what we're going to be talking about. Not about me, but about you on this episode of Speak on Stage. Welcome to Speak on Stage with Dave Crane, the podcast where we unpack the art and science of public speaking to help you command the stage with confidence and authority. I'm your host, Dave Crane, and as a seasoned speaker, coach, and entertainer, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of individuals like you to unlock their true potential on stage all around the world. Each week we'll bring you candid conversations with industry experts, successful speakers, and thought leaders, delving into proven strategies, practical tips, and personal anecdotes to empower you to become a captivating communicator. So whether you're a seasoned pro looking to refine your skills, or a beginner taking the first steps onto the stage, this podcast is your go-to resource for mastering the craft of public speaking. So grab your notepad, open your mind, and get ready to amplify your impact as we embark on this journey together. Welcome to Speak on Stage with Dave Crane. Together, let's jump and grow wings on the way down. And in today's session, loads of stuff to go through, but a very limited amount of time, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet, which is very rare for me. Normally I'm going on for hours and hours. Like, Dave, we get it. Well, today you're going to want more. Okay, so today, first of all, thank you to everybody for all the kind words about my birthday. So if you're now watching this or listening to this a couple of days after, or maybe even a year from when it's my birthday, it was a year from my birthday, you're going, oh, well, that must be yesterday. But no, if it was less than a year, like 365 days in between, then forget about the birthday references. It was just really nice. I took a day to reflect. My girls, my wife, my daughter, my dogs, my mum were all very, very kind to me. And if you sent me wonderful wishes on social media or directly, then thank you so much. I decided to go really quiet on social, purely because it's like Pandora's box when you take the lid off and you got all this being hit by everybody saying, hey, how are you? Great, happy birthday, and all the rest of it. You know you have to reply to everybody. And it would have taken my entire day to tell everybody what a lovely day I was having, but I wouldn't be having such a lovely day because all I'd be doing is replying. So I thought I'd leave it to one side and then take care of it after that. But I did get a day to just reflect on stuff. And today's show is really about trajectory. It's really important for me to be able to understand who I am, where I am, and what it is I'm doing. And you may feel the same thing. There's a couple of times during the year when I reflect on stuff. And sometimes it's related to other people. So for instance, when it comes around to Diwali, I look at all my Indian friends. I'm being based in Dubai. There's millions of people I know who are enjoying that. That's fantastic. And Eid, I look at all my friends who are enjoying the Muslim celebrations and the food and the family stuff and all that. For Christmas, it's a great time to send your note to Santa and find out if being naughty or nice. But the thing about birthdays is it's really yours. It's your one time to turn around, if you want to, not everybody does, and say, what have I done that makes me a year better than I was before? Now, it's not the same as New Year's. New Year's, everyone writes a resolution and says, right, this is what I'm going to do, and within the first 2 weeks, they forgot about it, and then they go guilty when they find a bit of paper sometime, in the next 3 months. Going to join a gym. Did he join the gym? Yes. Did he go once? But you're still paying for it. Oh! That kind of thing. So with birthdays, it's about really taking that time amongst celebrating who you are and what you do and the people that you love and all the things that go into it, but also understanding that your time is ticking out. And the big difference for me now, and say I was born 30, 40 years ago, it was a lot longer than that, is that technology means you're going to live a lot longer. So you're not going to pop your clogs at some very basic age unless something goes terribly wrong. You will live until you're 80, 90, maybe even 100. With technology, people that are being born today, there's a very good chance you'll live to 120. So when I'm approaching 60, as you can see the beard and everything, oh, by the way, have a look at my hair. Look. There you go, all the grey's built in. Does that look cool? I like it. I should do a show like this, shouldn't I? Welcome to the Rasta Show, Speak on Stage. No. So when you're looking at who you are and how long you got left, it's really important to be able to say, I'm getting the best out of every single day. Because if you've got yourself into a rat race situation where you're doing what everybody else says, and there's nothing wrong with it if you're being paid for it, at some point, if you lose your job, or you're split in a relationship, or your boss leaves, or you've had enough of it, or even the company gets bought out, you look at it and you say, why am I still doing what I'm doing? Now, here's a strange thing. When you're about my age, then many of the people that I know stayed in a job for like 30 years, have now retired, took early retirement, and they've got money coming in forever, and that's it, that's fantastic. But they all turn around and say, I wish I'd done what you did. I wish I'd traveled the world. I wish I'd entertained and worked on really exciting projects. And so it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's great to be able to celebrate it and look back and never have any regrets. It's about what are you going to be doing next. And that's why it's important to be able to understand your trajectory. Because whether you want to be seen as a thought leader, or you just want to be seen as jumping up the food chain a little bit in your own company or in the company that you're working for, maybe going from being an employee to a supervisor to a manager, or manager to the board of directors, wherever it is, there's a trajectory involved. And that's what I've been finding really fascinating, because I thought what we'd do is take a big deep dive into what that truly means. As always, you can ask me anything, and if you miss the original broadcast, then you can send a question in the comments section or contact me directly, and wherever I am, I'll be able to get back to you and give you my answer at a later stage.
Participating in Dave.
I won't play this. This is my legacy stuff, and this, of course, Speak on Stage. Here's the thing about Speak on Stage, by the way. We have got, this is season 4. There's 4 seasons so far, with lots of stuff about thought leadership and speaking and branding and positioning yourself, and interviews with thought leaders from all around the world at really high level. So if you're thinking this is a short show, Dave, well, it is, but you can go back and subscribe to the other shows and get access to loads of really cool stuff from there as well. So I mentioned before about my book, A Thought Leader's Playbook, and today we're going to take a dive into what that means. This is the book, and if you're wondering, Dave, I want to get a copy of that, how can you tell me to get a copy? Where do I get it from? Let me just share with you. If you want to get a copy of this, then just go to, we said losing it completely, there we are. Okay, Thought Leader's Playbook, which is this book. If you go there, there's a QR code, or if you go to www.speakonstage.com/playbook, and you can sign up there and get yourself an advanced copy, a sample copy of it, or just go to, go to Amazon, and you can get the Thought Leaders Playbook there under me, Dave Crane. Not David Crane, that's a different person. There's various different people, but Dave Crane. So, long story. I've done episodes on that. I'm not going to go over it again, because you'd go, Dave, it's your ego. Of course it's my ego, but I'm called Dave Crane. So Thought Leader's Playbook is really about playing a game with your life and understanding how that fits into everything. So I'm not going to spend too long on this, because I want it to be a short, sharp revelation to you. So when you start playing the Thought Leader's game, you start thinking about who am I and what do I do, and what's my brand and all the rest of it. I've done lots of different episodes on this, but I want to look at your legacy. I'm going to ask some questions from this particular diagram, which is about what's your legacy. So this is what I want you to consider in this very sharp and short show. What does your legacy mean to you? Who are you? What are people going to say about you when you're gone? Because when you can work out who you are right now, and feed people what they need to say about you when you're gone, but do it in real time while you're alive, then you can improve on stuff and make it better now and enjoy the fruits of your labor. You don't have to wait until people suddenly discover you, like in 100 years' time, and go, oh, what a genius, well, how good was that? Because the odds are it's not going to happen. And even if it does happen, who cares? I mean, look at Van Gogh, one of the best artists of all time, Vincent van Gogh, or Vincent van Gogh, depending how you spell it. And he died penniless and poor without the ability to hold sunglasses on his ears, because he cut one of them off out of frustration. But if he'd managed to create a legacy during his lifetime with sponsors, people who realized how great he was at his artwork, he would have been rich and would have been happy and would have had a completely different experience. Which is why it's important for you to understand your legacy right now. So I'm going to give you some questions to play with. It's only a short show today for you to consider, and then you can contact me directly. In fact, you can probably go to our WhatsApp group, because we're going to be playing some games of LinkedIn this month. We got a 5-day challenge we do every single. DM me, I'll put it into the comments. A 5-day challenge where we look at how to turbocharge your career in 5 days, and this one's going to be about how to boost your LinkedIn relationship. Not with the organizers and people who own it, but with the people who connect with you on LinkedIn. So here's the questions. First one's this. What do you want to achieve from your life? What do you really want? It's one thing to say, yeah, I pay bills, I love my family, and, I go cycling on a weekend or whatever it is. But what do you want to achieve when it comes to the end of your days? When you're lying in there in a bed with all your family around you and they're saying, oh, bless you, we love you, and please don't go. And you're thinking, I'd rather just go, just stop crying, or whatever it is you do. When they say, did you achieve everything from your life? Are you going to be able to say yes or so if you want to answer that question, the answer is work it out now. Reverse engineer that time when you're on your deathbed and say, what is it that I want to be able to say that I've managed to achieve? So that's question number one. Number two, why? Whatever your answers are, and write them down on a bit of paper or create a Google Doc or whatever you decide to keep all this stuff and information together. Why do you want to achieve that from your life? Have you already achieved something like that? Or is it important? So when you talk about fame, fortune, and success and followers and influence and all the rest of it, what's the core reason why you're chasing those things, if that's what you come up with? Do you need to have fame and fortune, or do you just have to have enough money to be able to look after your bills and your family? Let's give me an example. So in the old days when I was just a life coach, I was doing presentations and workshops and stuff. And I say to people, what do you want from your life? I say, I want to be a millionaire. And I say, why? I say, because I've never got any money. I say, have you got credit card debt? Yes, I have. So why don't you just get rid of your credit card debt and then see if you've got disposable income again? Oh, never thought of it like that. So they save some money, they pay off their credit card debt, so the credit card company is not just eating into their savings or their monthly wages and so on. And once they've done that, they realize that they're actually manageable. When it comes to their finances, they're actually okay. They can get the stuff that they really wanted. They didn't need a top-of-the-range car or a holiday or all the rest of that. They just wanted to have access to a car and a holiday. And just daily not worrying about stress so much. So there are ways and means of getting a lot of the stuff that you really want right now already. You don't necessarily have to chase it all. So that's the point I'm making here. All right, next up is this. What are your strengths? What is it you do really, really well? What is it that when people turn around and say, oh, you're brilliant at that, that's what you do better than anybody else. If you don't know what your strengths are, have a look through your CV. Have a look at what you put out there on LinkedIn. And also ask your friends, what would you say my strengths are? Sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we say there's certain things and they're not those things. It's something else. So cross-reference it and work out what your strengths really are, because you want to be able to work on them, play on them, and also amplify them. Take your strengths to a whole new level. Why don't you work on your weaknesses? And this is a big mistake that people say. The reason you don't work on your weaknesses is because of a formula for being paid. Let me explain. The formula for being paid is two things. First of all, the effect of a job you do. And secondly, how cheaply can you be replaced by somebody else? Now, the business world, the corporate world, the employment world, when you sit down with your boss, or if you're doing it on your own, it's a bit weird, but you sit down with your boss for an appraisal once a year. And we sit down and say, right, you managed to achieve this, this, and this. And you go, thank you. So, but now let's spend the next 55 minutes of this hour talking about your opportunities to improve. And you're like, oh, please. And we go for all the things you hate. It might be paperwork, it might be socializing, it might be spending time on the road doing stuff. Let me just have a quick swig for my ridiculously large, look at this. My girls bought me this, not for my birthday, it was before my birthday. I didn't want to use it, this big Jersey cup. I thought it's a ridiculous size, but it's great. It keeps water cold for like a day, which is fantastic. So you look at all these different things that you're not very good at, that you hate doing, and you're not going to improve them, because here's the thing. If you work on your weaknesses, and most people tell you to do this, if you work really, 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 really hard on your weaknesses and the things that you don't like, the best you're going to be at those things is average. Never brilliant, never awesome, average, which brings you up to the same as everybody else, apart from the people who do it brilliantly. It's one of their strengths, and they'll always be better than you. So why don't you just find a way of making it okay at best, or even better, farm it off to a third person, somebody else who does that as one of their strengths, and you do a balance on it. Maybe it's somebody at work, maybe you put it onto social, you go to Fiverr, you go to find a freelancer who does that stuff that's mundane to you and painful for you really well. Social media, making videos, I don't know what it is, designing your podcasts, whatever it is you want to do. You give out to somebody else. So that goes back to the original thing. What are your strengths? So you work on your strengths, not your weaknesses. You boost your strengths because that makes you really, really good at what you do. And that means you're going to get paid more because you know that you're a specialist and people can see that you're a specialist because you then prove there's authority, there's trust and credibility in everything you do. Number 4, what do you love to do? What is it that you find is so fascinating and so wow that you never get bored of doing it? If you don't know what it is and you've really spent a lot of time not working on it properly, you should have a basic idea. And it doesn't matter if you turn around and say, well, what I love to do is I love to do something completely different from work. I love to be out in the countryside. I love to go for a walk. I love to walk my dogs, or I love to go fishing or something. So let's take an example. So what's your job? You're an accountant. What do you love to do? I love to go fishing. Do you enjoy your job? Well, it's okay. But it's nothing like going fishing. Well, supposing you then switched, you became a freelancer who exclusively does accounts for fishermen or people in the fishing industry. So you spend a lot of time with these people fishing and being their friend, but while you're waiting for a fish to come on, you do their accounts at the same time. Now, I'm just spitballing this, but get the idea. That means when you go to work, you love your work. And okay, it means that the books will smell of fish. That's a separate issue. But you will always love going to work. You'll never get bored of it, and you found a community that really does need your help, because the odds are most people who do something that's craft driven or hunting driven or something with their hands that's practical tend not to be great at doing accounts. So you might find that works perfectly for you. So what do you love to do? Get the combination of that and your strengths. And then the other thing is, who will pay for this? Who do you know that has an interest in this? I've talked about the accounting and I talked about the fisher people, not from Atlantis. That's a bit of a weird conversation. But when you work out who those people are and have this thing come together, you've got something really special. Let me share with you. This is called the hedgehog concept. So if you read Good to Great or Built to Last from Jim Collins, you'll get all about this stuff. In fact, if you check out the Ikigai, which is a Japanese version of this, which has got 4 different circles, this one's easier to explain, then you'll find more about this. And this is how you win in life. So there's 3 circles. What are you brilliant at doing? That's a work one. What are you passionate about doing? This is the red one. The blue one's what you're best at. Red one's what you're passionate about. And the green one is what drives your economic engine. What will people pay for? And who will pay for it? And if you listen to the podcast, you're probably going, Dave, we can't see the circles. It's a Venn diagram. 3 circles, different colors. Blue, what you're best at. Red, what you're passionate about. And green, what drives your economic engine. The region? The reason why I've got it as a Venn diagram is because if you only take 3 circles, but you only take 2, any 2, you haven't got something to do for the rest of your life. So for instance, if you get what you're best at doing and what you're passionate about, but nobody wants to pay for it, you won't be able to sustain a living on it. If you do what you're passionate about, what people will pay for, but you're not very good at it, then you're not going to make a living because it's not realistic. I love football. People pay a fortune for football tickets and football players, but I can't play it, so that's of no use at all. And then what you're best at and what drives your economic engine, like you're really good at finances, and if you work in the trading world, fintech, or work in the stock exchange, they pay incredible money, but you don't enjoy it, then you're going to spend your life being bored, rich, but bored. So you've got to get all these things to come together, and that's why it's so important to get that whole concept working properly. Does that make sense? Yes, Dave. Thank you so much. Okay. So who will pay for your expertise is the next question. And the next question after that is, what's your roadmap ahead? How do you move forward? What do you do to make it all come together? And that's a big headache for many people, but I think it's a really, really enlightening conversation. That's where this whole idea, this concept of trajectory comes together. And that's what I want to be able to share with you. Now, if you're interested in this, then contact me directly. At this moment in time, I'm really enjoying working with groups of people, groups of managers, groups of leaders to be able to get them to get their trajectory to a whole new level, especially their public speaking communication skills. When you can communicate, which is a foundation of your ability to get on with people, then you can get up the food chain faster. You can find out you got more supporters, your concepts get addressed and accepted quicker. And also, you're not there saying, I'm so frustrated by everything. You're able to make sure that things come online the way that you want them to because you're very smart. And also people understand where it is you're coming from with this. And then the final question for you is actually this one. When you say, what's your roadmap to move forward? And I've got a roadmap, which I could actually show with you very quickly. This is a roadmap for success. This is what it looks like, the Thought Leaders Playbook. So there's 4 to 6, depends where you are, different sessions. Start with preparation, then aspiration, then driving forward, positioning yourself, refining what you do, and then owning your space in the ecosystem. Does that make sense? Dave, can I take a screenshot? No, too late, it's gone. Let's just go back to me. Hello. It's me again. So, what's your roadmap ahead? We've got a roadmap that works with the Thought Leaders Playbook. The other question is this: when will you have reached your defined success? When will you know, oh, I've done it? In which case you've started it, you finished it, but then you say, well, I'm not dead yet. What else can I do? Maybe it's just the beginning of the end. Maybe it's just the end of the beginning. You have to work out what that is, because for some people, most people, I believe, once you've got something worked out, and it's true when you talk to people who are masters of something, when you've got a real master of somebody, of some kind of thing, martial arts or meditation or NLP or whatever it is, what that mastery means is they understand the basic rules, but now they realize they can ask better questions because they're nowhere near the top of the food chain. They just have a better understanding of it than most people. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you in today's session. I don't want to spend too long on this because I think it's really important that you understand that there is lots to talk about. And as always, I did mention earlier the opportunity to get a copy of my book, The Thought Leaders Playbook. And here you go, the QR code. I'll go to speakonstage.com/playbook. Go there. Put your details in, get yourself a copy of the book. You can see exactly what it is and what's in it. And if you want to buy your own hard copy of the book, it looks like this. Big, thick, blooming thing. Look at that. Like a VHS cassette. And nobody knows what a VHS cassette is because I'm really old. It's my birthday yesterday. Yep. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And that's it for today's session. I kept it short and sweet. I've only gone on for about, 21 minutes or so. That's amazing for me. I never leave it that long. But I'm going to leave you with two things. First of all, you see the QR code, which you've got. The other thing is that concept, that idea about your trajectory. What does it mean to you? What's it going to happen? When you work out what your trajectory is, are you going to be able to then move forward? I've got a formula for you, for your team, for your management, to be able to work out what that roadmap is specific for you. And I'm so excited about this concept. I can't tell you. It's so fascinating to work out who you could be. I won't say anything else. It's just, amazing. So I'm going to leave you with this, my thoughts on legacy. And you want to be able to turn around and have people say great things about you. Meanwhile, this is me, Dave Crane. Thank you for watching Speak on Stage. Subscribe, connect. Make sure you share this with people. I'd love to know your comments, and have the most amazing and incredible day. Thank you.
I have been participating in Dave Crane's Industry Icon program.
Dave Crane is one of the best coaches in the industry.
One of the most knowledgeable speakers I know.
I was so impressed.
He shared the stage with celebrities, athletes, politicians, and royalty.
You've been an inspiration to me since the first time I saw you on LinkedIn, man.
New prospects should know that you are a world-class broadcaster.
He's a true, operates from his heart, and he always speaks his truth.
Where do I begin?
I looked around the room and all I could see was eyes on you, ears on you. You could have heard a pencil drop.
Dave is someone who is a limitless thinker with a big heart.
And his Industry Icon program helps coach great leaders into becoming great speakers.
It's helped me improve my image online. Everyone I know that's worked with you says the same thing. It's helped me improve my presentation and speaking abilities.
Clarity, clarity, and clarity.
But more importantly, it's helped me to have a crystal clear message in what benefit I can add to my audience.
I'm in TV, and so people assume that, speaking in front of crowds is easy. But I'm on a set, and it's very different to go from a closed set to speaking to a live audience.
Now, because of Dave, I totally get it. I totally get why it's important, and I totally get that I can do it too.
Thank you for tuning in to another insightful episode of Speak on Stage with Dave Crane. We hope you found today's conversation inspiring and packed with valuable insights to help you to amplify your presence on stage too. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more aspiring speakers just like yourself. Remember, the stage is your platform to shine. And with the right tools and mindset, you can captivate any audience, anywhere. So keep honing your craft, refining your message, and never shy away from the spotlight. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll dive even deeper into the world of public speaking and performance. Until then, keep speaking, keep shining, and keep making an impact. This is Dave Crane signing off. See you next time on Speak on Stage.